All right, hey guys, welcome to Samco Workshop. Let's take a minute and talk about what pressure washer is best for you, electric or gas. And as you can see, I do pressure washing. So what I do is one of my businesses. I don't do it down here. I do it more part-time down here in Georgia, but when I was in Michigan, was full-time for the last 5 years that I did it there all summer long through the whole season. And there's some things that I can tell you here between electric and gas. So let's first, as you can see, I can't pull my gas one out because of the fact that my trailer is backed all the way up here, so I can't open the rear door. But I'm going to go show you in here. And I'm also going to put a bunch of clips in from other videos I've made with it that'll show you on there as well too. But let's take a quick peek here and see and talk about a gas one for a minute. So here is my 4 gallon per minute, 4,000 PSI gas unit right here. It works fantastic. The reason I use this one over a bigger, like a 8 gallon or 10 gallon per minute machine is a lot of the places I go to, and I do on these lake houses, they don't have the pumps that are capable. Their well pumps aren't capable of putting out the water pressure I need. So I can get by with a smaller buffer tank. I've done videos on that. But when we're talking about a 4 gallon per minute machine or any gas machine, we have a lot bigger size of a machine, so you're getting a lot more power. 4 gallons per minute is what comes out of this at 4,000 PSI. That's a lot of pressure, and that's a lot of power coming out of here. All right, so it gives quite a, you got a lot to work with. This is a belt drive system right here, so it runs by belt to an actual different, this is the pump right here. Here's the pump, motor, belt assembly, 3 belts on this. But what it does is it lets that pump run at a lot slower speed for a lot more longevity than direct drive does. That's the reason all pros will use a, anybody that's going to pressure wash for long periods of times, like pros do, we will use a belt-driven machine because you get, you know, way longer life out of the pump and the engine and everything. So, that's the system we use. But when you go to gas, you got a lot of things to keep in mind here. There's a lot of maintenance that's required on this. You have to have gas. You have to have oil. You have to change the gas, change oil. You got pump oil that has to be changed regularly. You're going to probably put a bypass on it like I do. That's this hose that comes out right here, and it goes where the bypass would be. Bypass would go on a gas one from here to there, but we would take this and recirculate it either into a buffer tank, or as I have mine coming out and just shooting onto the ground out of a T. You can see it there, out of a T thing. But that way I always have cold water circulating through my pump when I'm off the trigger. But this gas machine is, like I said, a lot more maintenance. I also have to carry gas cans here. I have to have pump oils in here. I have to have all kinds of stuff that you got to use to maintain this. Spark plugs, air filters. I got extra coils down in here, pole start coils. These things require maintenance. They also run on much bigger diameter hoses. Look at the hoses here. I can show you right here. Look at the size of the hoses that are coming out of this thing. The gray one, not the green one. But look, I mean, the size hoses that you're working with are a lot bigger. You know, there's a lot of pros and cons to them, but there's a lot more involved with it. Look at the size this takes up for storage in a trailer. This is a 6x10 trailer. Look at the space that takes up in here for storage wise, for somewhere to put it. And like I said, you got to start it and stop it often. Okay, you can't, unless you're running a bypass like I am with this hosing on here, you can't leave this thing run. When you let off the gun, you got like 30 seconds. You better be over there turning this machine off, or you're going to overheat the pump. But now the advantages to this is we are getting 4 gallons per minute of water at 4,000 PSI if we want it. So we're putting out a lot of power. We're able to run a big surface cleaner like this one that you see here, this 20-inch Whirlaway surface cleaner on there. And we have all of our extension nozzles. We have our turbo nozzles that do a lot more power to it. That's my dedicated gun for concrete right there that I use for cutting those in. I have my other guns hanging right here that I use, you know, for other, you know, for most of the soft washing. So there's a lot of advantages as far as connections and adapters and things and accessories like this that you can run with it, but you can also do those with electric too. Now, the advantage to gas is, again, the longevity and durability. These are going to outlive an electric pump by at least 50% longer. They're going to last, and that's for direct drive. On a belt drive model like this, that's probably going to, you know, the average person, let's say that their normal gas direct drive Home Depot type or big box store pressure washer, let's say they get 3 to 5, 6 years out of it with a few times of use each year. With something like this, I can run this thing for 8 hours a day, nonstop, 5 days a week, and get 2 or 3 years out of it. So what you're getting with a belt drive is tremendous. An electric one will never handle that kind of use, not even as much as a regular gas one is. But electric is also a lot cheaper. This one's about a $2,000 pressure washer. So all these things have to be taken into consideration for what you're going to do. And all right, well, again, I'll be showing you some of this stuff out there. I just wanted to highlight it here in the trailer. But let's get out of here and go talk about an electric one and some of the differences here. Okay, so now that we're out of there for a second, we'll talk about electric in a minute. But so why do you want a gas one? What would be the advantages to a gas one? The sheer power. Okay, if you're doing big jobs in concrete, then you're going to want something that's going to have the power to do that, so you can run a larger surface cleaner. If you are using it all the time and often, and you need that kind of power, that's an advantage to it. Most people do not. As a matter of fact, I have both electric and I have gas, and I only pull that gas one out when I go to jobs or if I'm doing something bigger. Like when I pressure washed my roof here before I painted it. When I did that roof, I pulled out my pressure washer and my soft wash rig, and I actually used a 12 volt, and I cleaned that whole roof before we painted it and did all that kind of stuff. But when I did my house, okay, when I did my entire house, which is wood, I treated it with the soft wash rig, and then I used that pressure washer to actually rinse all of that off. So there's a lot of advantage to having that kind of power. But does the average person need it? Is it something you want? Again, we got to take in mind that you got to store it. You have to maintain it with gas. You have to, at the end of the year, you're going to have to run antifreeze through it, which you got to do with both of them. But you're going to want to, treat that. You're going to want to put some stable in the gas or drain it all out. And, there's maintenance. It's a gas engine. Oil changes regularly. I change oil in that thing every single month. That gets the oil change, and the pump oil gets changed twice a year. So there's maintenance and things that you got to deal with it. There's also a lot of metal on it. So you got to, which is good for longevity, but also I'm down here in Georgia. Okay, it's humidity down here. We got to deal with rust and things like that on some of those things, and corrosion. So there's a lot of stuff that has to be taken into consideration, and the overall cost of going with a gas pressure washer. It's mainly for the power. You got to understand that too. There we said 4 gallons per minute. Okay, 4,000 psi, 4 gallons per minute. Well, let's just go look at something here and put it into perspective. If we take into account the average house, now we are on a well here as well too, but most houses, most city houses, your spigot, your actual faucet that you have, when you take a garden hose, put it on there, you are going to be getting somewhere in the 5 to 6, oh, we got a tree that broke off there, huh? But you are going to get 5 to 6 gallons per minute on average out of your actual hose. So like this, for example, here, if we turn this on, comparison wise, but with this on here, and I think we get about 5 here, we get about 5 gallons per minute here. But when I have this turned on, come on, doing it one-handed and holding this, but when we have this turned on, we get a lot of power water coming out of that. Look at that. I mean, that's a good flow of water. That's a lot of rinse. That's a lot of reach. I mean, don't think a pressure washer is going to, even on a rinse mode, is going to do much better than that, okay? You're going to, if my 4 gallon per minute machine puts out 4 gallons, I'm actually putting out more water right now, or about the same. I'll get a little more pressure out of that, but don't think for a second that your standard garden hose isn't going to do much better. If you're looking at an electric pressure washer, and you're looking at a 1.7 gallon per minute or a 1.8 or a 2.5 gallon per minute machine, you think that's going to do any better rinsing or cleaning than what this is, you bumped your head. Now, we'll have more pressure up close, because here you're only getting about 80 psi or so. So you'll get more pressure, but you're not getting any of the flow. Okay, the flow is what matters. The flow is everything when it comes to pressure washing, when it comes to rinsing and doing the stuff. And I will have that in another video when I teach you how to pressure wash your stuff. Okay, because there's, like I said, everybody does it wrong. The last thing you want to do is take your pressure washer on vinyl siding or wood and sit here and put that nozzle right here and start just working this back and forth and doing this around everything. It's the worst thing you can do for anything that you have. The only time we use high pressure, Okay, the only time high pressure is ever used on around your house is on concrete. Okay, when you pressure wash concrete, then you want to use high pressure. But for decks, no, you don't want to use high pressure. For siding, you don't want to use high pressure. See, this I cleaned, well, this has been a couple years, but I used high pressure for this. When we built this garage, I used high pressure in my surface cleaner that you just saw in that thing, and I used that. I'll probably put an inset in here for you, but to clean all of this. And you can see the difference here, where when I came around this tree, okay, see the color change there where I cleaned? You can even see some of this where I missed a little bit right there. But that's running high pressure. You use high pressure for concrete only. Your car is a lower pressure. Your house wash is a lower pressure. So realistically, a gas pressured pressure washer, the advantage only comes into play when you're doing it more on a professional level. Or you want that longevity. I mean, are they nice? Yes, but concrete is where they shine. Now, when we look at let's go over here and take a quick look at a electronic model. Electric pressure washer, one I did a review on a while ago. Actually real early in this channel, about a year ago. This channel's still pretty new, but I did it on that Ryobi. And since then, I've used this one probably, I don't know, 65, 70 times. And but, you know, that gas one was in a trailer. And that gas one required being in a trailer. It had to have gas cans, all that stuff. The hoses were on a reel, everything. Well, if we look right here, that's my whole electronic setup right here. This is my whole electric pressure washer setup. I leave it here because I wash cars with it. Okay, but so what do we got here? Look at how nice and compact and convenient the hose is. Okay, it's 50-foot hose. Uber Flex 50-foot hose. Look at how nice and easy that is. Here is the machine. Here's my MTM foam cannon that I use for washing a car. And then here is that Ryobi pressure washer, electric pressure washer, 1.2 gallons per minute, 1800 PSI. Perfect for doing cars. Absolutely perfect for cars. And I'll show you some excellent options for bigger electric versions as well too. But I mean, look at how nice and lightweight this is, and it puts out perfect amount that I need for doing cars. I have there's the original gun that came with it. Okay, here's the guns I use for my pressure, or for doing the cars. But an electric pressure washer is very simple. We don't have any moving parts that we got to mess with. We don't have any oil changes to do. We don't have any gas to put in it. They come with a very good long cord. As you can see here, I don't even need an extension cord. I can plug right into that outlet right there. So they got a lot of options with the electric as far as simplicity, but no maintenance on them. They do not last as long, but you can also, because it's an electric motor, when you let off of the gun, okay, so you're washing, cleaning, when you let off that trigger, then what happens is this will turn itself off. It just shuts off. So you don't have to worry about water overheating, you know, in a bypass overheating the pump, any of that kind of stuff. There's no issues with this. All you got to do with it to winterize it is basically take some, you know, have it set up, plug it in, and then just squirt a little bit of right into your backflow. That's the exit. Here's where you put your water goes in. But all you're going to do with this thing is just take it and pour some RV antifreeze in there, and then just turn it on for a quick second, let it spit it right back out here. Now you just put RV antifreeze in the pumps. You're done for winter. That's all there is to it. Just quick, simple, and easy. Lightweight, functional, and effective. Now, the downside. 1.2 gallons per minute on this one at 1800 PSI. The PSI, like I said, is pretty much irrelevant except for concrete. Even on concrete, the gallons per minute is what matters. This is only a 1.2, where that gas one you saw was 4 gallons per minute, and that's a huge difference. Okay, this is not putting out a lot of water. Matter of fact, when I wash my truck, if I were to wash my truck with that 1.2 gallon per minute, there's barely any water even on the ground. I mean, it does not put out, and again, I'm insetting videos here for you to see, but there's not a tremendous amount of water waste. That's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing in the fact that you want water to actually rinse. You need the water to come out of this. And with the electric ones, when you get into the higher power ones, something in the 2.5 gallon per minute one, there's a lot more options for surface cleaners, even though they're smaller scale scale than that big 20-inch you saw, but you do have surface cleaner options that you can use for cleaning your concrete. You have X-Jet options for cleaning your house the right way, which is another video I'll be making right after this one. But you can clean this stuff with that real easy. Clean all your tile work, your deck work, your cement work, all of this stuff. You can clean this, and I'll show you. I'm showing you examples, difference here, insets of running, you know, even the turbo nozzle that this one comes with, because this does come when you buy it with a turbo nozzle, and it will clean concrete. It's just going to take you forever to do it. But the turbo nozzle, I think, is still in here somewhere. Yeah, right here. Okay, so here's your turbo nozzle that came with it. Is it good? It's okay. It will work. It just takes a tremendous amount of time. As you're seeing in the video where I did a sample on a very small patch of concrete, and I'm showing you how it works, but it will get the job done. Now, the other advantage to electric is the cost. These things are so affordably today as far again, $2,000 pressure washer. This one's like a $95 pressure washer, okay? And then even going to like a 2.5 gallon per minute one, you're gonna be looking at, you know, they're like 250 bucks or something. They're not a lot of money. You can buy higher end electric ones, but and I'll link some of them down there for you too. I'll even show you a couple pictures of them in here that are going to last a lot longer, be a lot better. But this, for the average homeowner, and something in a 2.5 gallon per minute will be a fine, do everything you pretty much need to. Because again, remember, the only time you're using the pressure is when you're washing concrete. Even for this as a washing house or doing cars, I've changed the tips out, and I have this running about 1100 psi for doing the cars rather than 1800 psi, because you don't want that much pressure on your actual vehicles. Pressure is bad for everything but concrete. If you were to come in here and hit this, again, any house, I have 100-year-old windows on here. If I were to hit this with pressure, I would not only destroy the windows, I would destroy the things. I'd blow water, would shoot right through this and pop right out into my living room, in the kitchen there. Okay, so I mean, you don't want that water. High pressure would put water into places that this house has not ever seen before. It would be a very bad thing. So high pressure is used for concrete only. When it comes to the 99% of the things we're going to do, an electric one will work great. Less moving parts. Now the longevity is not there. Longevity of electric is not there. Okay, you're not going to get 8 hours of use per day out of this for very long, you know, like you would on that gas belt drive model we had there. So these are all variations you have to take into consideration. But electric today is zero maintenance, very simple, very lightweight and easy and simple to store. As you see here, I just put it in a bin and it sits right here, you know, next to my thing. It's not like I'm even worried about anybody stealing it. It's just there it is, and it just sits right in here, nice and compact and out of the way, and it's available the second I need it to be able to do my cars. It's just you know, I can't argue with that concept. There it is. You know, I mean, it's so nice and simple. Plug it in the wall, hook my hose up, connect my garden hose to it, start doing the stuff I need to do. Simple, easy, effective. And so you can't go wrong with either of them, but I'm hoping this helps you understand when you want an electric one, whether you want a gas one, what's right for you. If you're not mechanically inclined, the electric is 1,000 times easier, because one thing about pressure washers, they always need some kind of mechanical attention. You got leaks that are happening, O-rings that are blowing out, maintenance has got to be done, oil changes have got to be done. There's always something to mess with a gas-powered one over electric. So hopefully that helps you out. And like I said, you should be seeing a whole bunch of different images and pieces in here for you. Hope you enjoyed the video. All right, now that we've done that rinse, it's basically cleaned off, but you can see already the big difference there because that soap chewed a lot of that off, and if it was super dirty, it would take a lot of that grime right off with it. Now what we're gonna do is do the wheels first, because otherwise if you do the wheels last, where you're scrubbing on the wheels, you could be flinging that stuff all over your clean car. Wheels are usually the dirtiest. We do the wheels first. So for that, we're gonna use a little bit of that Dark Fury spray on there, clean those wheels up real good, get them all done if you wanted to, but now right now my wheels are not that bad, so I'm not gonna spray that wheel cleaner like this that we would use, this Dark Fury. Again, you only have to do this when they're really bad. Mine are not really bad, and they are treated with Seal and Shine, and the less of the harsh chemicals I put on there, the more they're protected. So I'm not going to use this. So we're just going to hit them with soap that we have in our soapy water, and we're going to work those wheels through. So we'll be right back here for that. All right, now we're going to do these wheels. We're going to go ahead and do all, actually I can probably zoom you out and show you, but I'm just going to show you on that one. But I'm going to hit them with the foam cannon again because they're not that dirty, and now I have a thicker mix in there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the foam cannon to soap them, and then we are going to use the assortment of my 3 favorite wheel brushes that we have right here that we are going to use to clean the wheels and the tires with. So we're going to take this, hit this. If I turn the pressure washer on, hold on. So what we are going to do, you are on right, yeah, we're going to soak these wheels and the wheel wells real good. Like that. I'm going to do 2 at a time. That one and then this side one over here. All right, so we did that, and that's that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use that soap that's on here, and I'm going to scrub them with these brushes and the stuff we want to use. Wheel brush gets inside of here real good. You could also soak these first if you wanted to, and soak them, but I do not want these going into my soap bucket where I'm going to soak with. So you just wet them down. So we want to scrub this stuff real good in here. And all of the nooks and crannies of that wheel. With this one, everywhere you can get in there with. Okay, there's different ones, different sizes. This one works good for mine. I like that it's a square end brush, and it works really good, so we use that. Take this one to get in the emblems and inside of the wheel well, the lug nuts. Get those real good. Like that. Do this one to get the face. Then after you do your tire, it's good to give that a rinse. Get some of that crap that came off of there out of there. Then we move on to the next one. Do that one real quick. I don't even know. Alright, now that we have those cleaned, those wheels are cleaned, we are going to now rinse those wheels, but I am changing out to my other nozzle. I want a little more aggressive punch on the wheels. So we go from the 40 to 25 degree nozzle on here. Again, a little more punch in it, help with the stuff inside the wheel wells. I do not scrub inside my wheel wells. I have detergents and WD-40s to take care of that. So basically though, we're gonna hit those wheels, we're gonna use this 25 degree nozzle and cover all that, clean it up well. Wheels are done. We are ready to treat this side. We do it side by side, so I'm not even going to touch the wheels on the other side yet. But now when we do this, We are going to hit it with the foam cannon, but then we are also going to use a bucket and a mitt. Now in here we have my guard, if I can pull it out. We have that dirt guard in the bottom of this. Stays down there. We have soapy water in here. Some people use 2-bucket method where they'll go with a rinse bucket first. I usually don't. I'm just too lazy, but if I get a lot of crap on there, it's real dirty, I will hit this and wash it out before I actually put it in there, but that can stay in there. But we're going to hit this with the foam cannon first just to get that heavy suds layer. Again, for lubrication and stuff like that, as we're using the mitt. It only takes a second to do. It's worth it. We take the foam cannon, pop it on. We're going to foam this whole side again. Even the tires is fine. Wheels doesn't matter. Now, while that is on there, we're going to go ahead and bucket wash that and clean that up with a bucket. Now, I'm going to pause for a second because I got to go grab my ladder because I'm a short guy. I can't reach all of that. So let me grab that, get it set up for you, and then we'll get rolling. All right, part of the problems of being a short guy is you have to deal with all right, now notice I did the top first, that part of the hood, and then I did the tonneau cover and the tailgate first. That's because those are usually some of the dirtiest parts on the tailgate and the bottom. So before I hit the side of this, I want to rinse this off again. Then we're going to put that back in our wash bucket. All that dirt that's in it's going to sink down below that stuff when we put it in here because it's all, that dirt's heavier. And then when we wash this, we want to wash the way the wind blows. Okay, very important. Wash the way the wind blows. No circles, no up and down, the way the wind blows from top to bottom. Save the whole bottom half from about where that Tacoma line is till the very end. So you keep, because that's where most of the dirt usually is. Okay, now that we've did all that, now we can again rinse this out real good. Get that soap on there and then do that bottom section. Again, kind of top to bottom. Now we spray that out again. And then I usually do the grill. All right, and that's how we're doing that right there. Now, what we're going to do is, like I said, we are going to hit that front of the grill with a bug guard, or with a brush to help. We're going to use that same bucket soap, hit that front, and let that get on there. We're going to then do the other side. Now, what we're going to do for the other side is the same thing. We are not going to use that bucket on the wheels. We're going to do it just like we showed you with the foam cannon, and then that bucket will only be used on the body, just like I got done showing you here. So once we have that done, I'm going to turn you off for that. Once I have that done, we'll come back and we'll talk about drying it and what to do next. But what I just did here is exactly what I'm going to do on the other side. Actually, very little on the other side, because we already did the hood, the roof, the tonneau cover, and the tailgate. So all we got is that one quick swipe across that side over there. And we'll get it done real quick. We'll be right back. All right, so we got the other side washed. That's all taken care of. Now, if you were going to do a spray wax on here, now is the time, such as this. If you're going to run like a Meguiar spray wax on there, you would put this on now. I'm not, because I actually am waiting. That's what's on it. And I need a couple more weeks for this to finish burning off of there, a few more washes before I can put this on there. Now, I already have this on the rims. I showed you a video on that, but putting this, I want this gone so that I can have this base on there, and then I'll start using this wax on top of it. So I'm trying to wear that out personally, but if you were to do a spray wax, now that you have it rinsed off, this should be the time. Like, I'll put this on the wheels because I already have the Seal and Shine as a base coat sealant, so I can put these on and you just squirt these. Right like that, just squirt it on there. Only need probably 2 squirts. And then, hang on, car going by. Now with that Meguiar's, you can just rinse that off, okay? You don't have to. Now when I do the Seal and Shine, I actually use a microfiber cloth to wipe those wheels off, which I will still do to dry. And then this is actually a tire rag, so I got things. We got a dry rag. I'll show you a couple ways to dry it, but with that on there, so we sprayed that on. What we want to do is hit that with some pressure and let that spread that around. If you're using this Meguiar ceramic type wax, any of the spray on waxes, you spray it on and then you hit it with some water. And what that's going to do is that is going to spread that. Same on this one. That spreads that into all those little nooks and crannies and pockets, and it does a very good job, and that's really all there is to it. Again, when I'm drying it off, I could dry it with a rag if I needed to. Now, when it comes to drying the vehicle, like I said, this stuff we're going to move out of the way because we're done with this kind of a stage here. Sliding that over here. And but like I said, my ultimate goal is to burn that Meguiar's off the body when it's all gone, when it washes away, probably another month or so, and then run the Seal and Shine as a sealant, and then any spray wax, this or that Meguiar's right over top. You can see that Meguiar's has compatibility too, because that's got Seal and Shine on those rims. But that Seal and Shine is an incredible, durable, chemical resistant, long lasting, easy to apply protectant. You don't do that as a spray wax. You do that after you dried it and everything like a wax. It's real easy, but that's that whole concept. But now to dry it, you can use 2 things, okay? You can use microfiber towels, which is fine. I recommend, rather than, sorry, it's warm out here still, rather than a regular microfiber like this, which is thin, get an actual dry towel. See the nap thickness? Look at how thick that is. That holds a lot of water, very soft, and it cleans it and it dries it really well. So an actual dedicated dry towel like this is a great idea. I'll show you that. But first, let's look at the idea of compressed air. If you have a blower, they work incredible for drying a car off. I will show you real quick, and then we'll re-wet it down and show you the towel. as you see, a blower works fantastic. Me personally, not really a fan. I like drying it by hand with a towel a lot better, just preference, and especially because, like I said, I'm going to use some sort of a spray wax on there, and the towel lets me make sure that that's buffed in real well, so I prefer. So we wet this back down real quick for the sake of it. Also, never let your car dry completely until you are ready to dry it. So if that other side was starting to dry already, I would walk over there and hit that with water. We do not want it to dry on its own until we are ready. Simple as just come over, and mist it like that. You don't got to get carried away, but we want you to be the one drying the car, not the elements, not the sun, not things like that. So now with a towel dryer, okay, we use this. You're going to do the same concept. Now I'm going to have to get the roof with a ladder, so I'll do that in a little bit here. But basically just a nice smooth going with the direction of the wind, not circular. Only thing you ever do circular is apply wax if you want to, but always wash and dry, or anytime you contact the paint, go with the direction of the wind, because that's the way natural scratches are. You do not want to do swirls. But you can see how good this heavy nap towel does at getting rid of all that water real fast and easy. Now again, I save the very bottom until I'm done with everything. In case there's any excess grime, I do not want to be grinding that into my paint. So we save that till the very end. And the same with the tonneau cover. I don't do the tonneau cover till the very end. Even if it's going to spray some water down, I don't want that on here. I'll be honest with you, when I do the tonneau cover, I use the other microfiber cloth, not this one. But you can see how easy that is. Okay, that's your drying process. And if you had put a spray wax on it, that would buff that in very nicely for you. All right, now we'll be back in a minute. Let me finish drying this and we'll cover the rest. All right, now that we got that done, car's dried off, everything is all dried off, that's set. Now we just got to apply the dressing on the wheels, or on the tires, and along the trim and that kind of stuff, and do the wheel wells with the WD-40. So we're going to use Armor All WD-40. I'm going to bring you in closer to this front wheel and show you how we approach all that kind of stuff here. So let me get you set real fast, and we'll get you right over there. All right, so we're going to apply Armor All, which is basically running at a 60% Armor All, 40% water. Sorry, neighbors working over there, gonna hear a little saw noise. And then we're gonna use WD-40 in all of the wheel wells and all of that kind of stuff. That's our plan. So basically, you could apply this right on your thing, but because of the bigger lugs in the tire, I want to actually apply it right on the tire. Then I'm using that rag and just bringing it in and wiping it around on there. Then I'm using my other microfiber cloth for the wheel. This one, we're going to then just dry the wheel. Now that we're all done with that, make sure we have nothing on there like that that's going to be any excess residual runoff. Like that. And that does that. It's really hard to get in all the bigger lugs. Okay, so you just kind of got to let it work its way through there a little bit. But that's how that's done. Now, when we do the tire, or I mean the wheel well, this WD-40 in here, watch what this does in here. It just eats all of that dirt right off of everything in there. I'll bring you in and show you close up in a second. but it just chews all the dirt and cleans it all out of there. And again, buying it by the gallon works fantastic. So I do that on the wheel. I'm also going to do this along the frame. I do this along everywhere. For my actual side steps, because we have all that WD-40 on, or I mean that Armor All on there already, I use that right on these and go across those. And I also use it on the back side of my mud flaps, right there. And then I will also, on a different rag, but just for purpose of showing you, I will use this on all of my trim pieces. Again, I'm not that picky here. Like I said, it's all right. We'll just use it like this. But it's going to be used to go around the whole truck, all the trim. And then we'll get all these steps. And this will kind of show you, to finish this out here for you, the video out, what we're talking about. Okay, and then we'll hit the underneath of this with that WD-40 along the frame. And that's basically it. Okay, that's how we're doing this car. After that, you're pretty much done. So if I pop you off of here, I will show you that before we wrap this up. So when we come into here and look inside this wheel well, look at that. Okay, now I got to get here, which I'll hit with a rag. Okay, but look at how that does inside of there with that WD-40. And when it dries, it'll just be perfect, nice, clean black, and it does a fantastic job in there and works out well. But there it is. That's basically the truck. We do the back wheels and we finish up the side rails with the stuff, and we have it covered. All right, and that wraps it up. That for us is how we clean this. Now I'm just going to do this wheel here, do the wheels on the other side, quick little coat around there with the WD-40 and Armor All, and we are done. Thanks for watching. I hope you found some useful tips out of this as far as how to clean that car. Especially got to understand this thing. I mean, I am usually covered in mud, so this process we do isn't something you have to do when you quickly want to just wash your car, but this is what you're going to go after when it's got mud and it's caked and it's been used during hunting season and off-road and things like that. These are the kind of things that are going to make a big difference and really keep it lasting long for you. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.